going to talk a bit about a very, very special track from the space opera Mass Effect. We're going to talk about this one before we play it, so it gives you, our listeners, just an inkling as to what to expect, Cello, from this particular track. Okay, just going to read it as is, so be amazed and be impressed. I'm going to move the mic. So Love Theme is the Love Theme from Mass Effect, composed by Jack Wall, Sam Hulick, Richard Jacques, and David Cates. Mass Effect is a space opera with an emotional and immersive depth to assist. The musical score follows suit. Jack Wall and his composing team are set with the task of conveying an emotion that not only portrays the scope of the world's characters, but indeed the universes. You play Mass Effect, gentlemen?
No.
You haven't played Mass Effect. Okay, no. You need to play Mass Effect. Amazing. Being set in the distant future, naturally, worlds, cultures, technology, and planetary colonization have evolved. The score has the challenge of conveying the artwork of the future whilst also inspiring the experience of the past, using the inspiration and the experience of the past. Love Theme is about the emotional connectivity of an established relationship built using the foundations of trust, courage, and friendship. This connection is within the minority of humans. Naturally, aside from all the high-tech gadgetry, space freighters and light speed, Love Theme is an organic and hypnotic piece that reminds us what we live for and what we live without. The choice to embed the piece with a piano is an effective one, using minimalistic and subtle flourishes that captures the listener's thought and imagination. Musical repetition is the key to hypnosis and trance. With this state cast upon us as listeners, our deepest and sometimes most hurtful memories are catapulted to our conscious minds immediately through the usage of free and almost improvised piano phrasing in the higher octaves, and even the constant drop of silently audible percussion acting as a heartbeat. Working diatonically in G minor scale with a solid ostinato or repeated piano phrase giving the piece its centre, the almost tragic level of hypnotic sadness is ironically countered by sustained and synthetic pads working chromatically, which is using a scale made entirely of semitones, which with it brings an out-of-body feeling that feels both beautiful and erringly unnatural. I've written quite a lot here.
You have?
Didn't realise, but it's all amazing. All unnatural. The word chromatic itself means coloured, which is evident here as this certainly is a level of musical colour that is added to what otherwise would be a rather bland repeated phrase. But Love Theme is a piece that depicts the raw emotion and spirit of humanity whilst transporting our mesmerised minds through a trajectory of memory, feeling and timelessness. A piece that has an impact, connects on an emotional level and displays the heart that goes into composing video game music.
VGM awesome. It's awesome.
Beautiful piece, was it not?
I loved it. I loved the music in Mass Effect. It's really cool.
It is amazing. They really did achieve something quite special with the score. What are you bringing forth to us today?
Well, consoles versus PC, which is better? That's the question.
That's a whole can of worms, my friend.
Well, you know, we all know that PCs are incredibly versatile and they're used for more than games, right?
Yeah.
And the consoles now are starting to merge the gap between PCs and consoles now, aren't they? Whereas, you know, you can, like, Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 they come with BBC iPlayer.
They do.
And, you know, you've got, like, lots of different web service now. But which should you get? Because after Christmas, me and my parents went down to Comet and Curry's because I've been nagging them to buy a PlayStation 3 for years.
Yeah.
And they finally cracked this year. I was like, I'm in for a win. And we got down there and there was a PlayStation 3 there for £200 and it came with FIFA and the controller, and we were looking at it like, but what can we use it for? We were like, what? Well, this is kind of rubbish really, because then we're going to have to buy a game that's £40 and then buy another game and then another control pad, another 2 control pads. We're looking at £150 and possibly the Move because we want to play golf. And so we're looking at about a £300 hidden cost for the rest of the year. So this is going to rack up, okay? And I was like, well, hang on a minute. We can buy a PC for £500, put it downstairs on the TV, and we've got everything. We've got like films, we've got the internet. Use a Wii remote as a controller. We can like play games on the, we've got emulators which you can run, play all the old classics as well.
You can, and I don't disagree with you whatsoever. But you have to be someone of a certain and particular mould to be able to do that. Kind of cutting off. If they did that, if they marketed it that way, they'd lose a lot of money.
I suppose you're right. It's kind of like the Mac way of thinking, isn't it?
I guess so. But I mean, that sounds great, and I think that is definitely more cost effective. It's more practical, and you certainly get a lot more for your money. and you probably get a better gaming experience as well. But as I say, you probably have to be someone who knows that kind of stuff. Not everyone knows how to work an emulator, wire up a Wii remote to a PC, all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. If I asked you, okay, if you could have a PC or a console, okay, which would you choose?
Probably a PC.
Okay. John?
He's so expecting me to say console.
Okay, in my case, I'm going to ask you, what if my favourite game which I can get on a console, I can't get it on the PC?
Well, you just asked my question with a question, so I'm going to answer your question with another question, which
on,
is,
then.
why didn't you answer my question?
I didn't answer your question because if you don't answer my question, I won't be able to tell you the answer.
Gentlemen, just answer the question.
Well, if that makes your decision that you'd rather have a console than a PC, then so be it.
Quite possibly have a console and a PC because there's a whole bunch of games I can get on consoles which I cannot get on PC.
Okay.
With gaming consoles, though, I mean, I see what you're saying. You know, PCs are more versatile, and you have that level of customization. With consoles, you don't. But consoles are designed specifically for gaming. So things like, take the Xbox 360 for example. You know, the control pad for me, it's great for gaming. You know, that's what I think. I would say probably the majority of gamers are used to that kind of posture, holding it with, you know, analog sticks, thumbs. That's how most people probably game. To go, you know, from that to a keyboard and a mouse is very alien. It's a big jump, and I think, you know, they're kind of they're gaming systems. They're designed for that one purpose only.
Yeah, you're right. They are designed specifically for one purpose. But if you look back in the past, arcade cabinets are kind of being phased out because the console came around in the late 80s rather than the early 90s, and like this whole new dedicated system. The arcade, just blew the arcade machine out of the water because it's like you can take it home. But PCs are so versatile now. I mean, like Battlefield, the latest one, Battlefield 3, you can play 64 players online, but on the consoles you can only play 32.
Right.
But it's kind of like the portability as well, which of PCs, which I think is really interesting with games, particularly, is that my mum takes like the laptop to bed and she plays like Knit Stories, which is like an indie kind of like roaming puzzle game. Okay, and you won't have those types of games on the console. So I think it's, you know, targeting the casual market as well.
Yeah.
Which means that the audience is huge.
Yeah. Do you think? I mean, certainly with the way that arcades have gone, I mean, they're extinct now, right?
Yeah.
You know,
except for Time Crisis 2.
Except for Time Crisis 2. You know, they're certainly, you know, verging on extinction, certainly from their heyday. But do you think that's going to happen with consoles? Because we talked about in the past, like cloud gaming, things like that. Consoles are slowly being eradicated and making it more of an online gaming experience, whereas PCs will kind of house that
I reckon in the next 15 years, consoles would have disappeared to how we know them today. They will become dedicated PC machines, like the Apple and stuff like that. So Sony will probably bring out their own. By
saying that,
range.
you're then kind of like trusting that people are going to, you know, the new generations are going to grow up knowing, and they probably do actually. I mean, I speak to my nephew who's like 10, and he already knows, he has such a scope of gaming and PCs and technology, much more than I did when I was a 10-year-old. You know, and they're going to grow up with that. And do you think they're going to be able to, like those things we talked about at the start, being able to, you know, wire your PC up to your TV so you can have everything on one multimedia system?
Yeah.
Will kids just kind of be brought up and to know that?
Yeah.
Do you still think it's a specific thing that you have to learn to be able to do it?
No, I think you're right. As the children grow up, they're going to understand it as well. But now that like people my age and people slightly older, like your age, who are very tech savvy. Very tech savvy,
right?
They're having children, so they're growing into a family which is already very tech
Together?
savvy.
I'm not game for that. No pun intended.
Anyway, so children become more and more, you know, at home with technology.
Yeah.
In fact, you could almost say that they're going to become infused with technology.
Infused with technology.
Going back
cyborgs.
Going back to something that's probably going against the whole PC argument. But one thing which I find with PCs that you don't get with consoles is that PCs constantly need upgrading normally.
Yeah, I suppose they're expensive to run, yeah.
They're expensive to run, whereas normally what you'll do is you'll get a console, that'll last you...
And that's it.
That'll last you quite a few years, and you don't have to do anything...
Until the new one comes out.
Until the next generation comes. Whereas if you get a PC... the latest game comes out and you find out, oh, my graphics card, I can't handle it, so I've got to get a new graphics card and get all that in there.
All right, well, we'll come to a conclusion as to whether, you know, PCs or consoles win this fight after a very special track from our man Crofty. Crofty, do you want to give us a bit of an introduction to this one?
Oh yeah, this one's called The Vents. It's an Echo the Dolphin remix. I remixed it a couple of years ago, and it was from Echo CD.
Echo
It is
CD.
Echo CD.
Yeah,
Like it.
enjoy this.
Enjoy this.
VGM awesome. It's awesome.